Before we dive into our topic today, I want to give you a brief overview of what we will be covering in this session. Today, we will be exploring the types of buildings, starting with a comprehensive introduction that sets the stage for understanding the various types of buildings we encounter in our daily lives. We will discuss the following key points. Firstly, we will cover building construction overview, then stages of building construction, then importance of building construction, then building, then historical development of buildings, then building design responsibilities, then we will be covering key consideration in design, and lastly we will be covering types of buildings. So, firstly we will be discussing about building construction overview. Building construction is a process of adding structure to the real property, including residential, commercial and industrial buildings. Purpose: to create spaces for living, working and various human activities. Process involves planning, design, financing and execution. Key persons involved are architects, engineers, contractors and clients. So, what are the various stages of building construction? First, planning, second, design, third, pre-construction, fourth, construction and fifth, post-construction. So, first, planning. In the planning, there is site selection, choosing a suitable location considering factors like accessibility, environment and zoning laws. Secondly, feasibility studies, assessing the economical, technical and legal feasibility of the project. Then the project scheduling, developing a timeline for the project milestones and completion. Then the environmental sustainability. Sustainable construction practices reduce environmental impacts by promoting energy efficiency, resource management and the use of renewable energy. Green buildings and sustainable design contribute to the environmental conservation and climate goals. Cultural and historical preservation. Construction plays a vital role in preserving historical and cultural heritage. Restoring and maintaining historical buildings protects cultural identity and attract tourism, boosting local economics and enriching community life. Social development. Building construction supports social infrastructure by providing educational, healthcare and public safety facilities. Schools, hospitals, emergency services buildings improve public health, safety and education, contributing to the overall social well-being. Economic diversification. Investing in construction diversifies the economic through real estate development and urban renewal projects. Then what is building? Humans require various types of building for different activities. Each type of building has specific requirements and contributes to the overall development of the society. Here are some examples. First, residential building. Houses, bungalows and flats provide living spaces. Residential buildings range from simple huts to the luxurious apartments, reflecting the socio-economic status of their inhabitants. Then the health care. Hospitals and healthcare centers serve medical needs. These buildings are designed to facilitate patient care, including emergency services, inpatient and outpatient treatment and specialized medical services. Then the education. Schools, colleges and universities are centers of learning. They include classrooms, laboratories, libraries and recreational areas designed to support educational activities. Then the workplaces. Offices, banks and factories are designed for various work activities. These buildings often incorporate elements to enhance productivity, such as easy to use workspaces and efficient layouts. Then the transportation. Railway buildings, bus stations and air terminals facilitate movement. These buildings are designed to manage the flow of people and goods, ensuring efficient and safe transit. Then the recreation. Clubs, theatres and cinemas provide entertainment. These buildings are designed to accommodate large group of people and provide facilities for various recreational activities. Worship. Temples, mosques, churches and dharamsalas are places for regional activities. These buildings often have architectural features significant to the faith they represent. Each of the building has unique requirement such as structural integrity, safety standards and functional design, which are crucial indicators of a country's social progress. Then what are the historical development of building? Firstly, there were early shelters like caves. Initially, humans used natural caves for shelters. These early habitats offered protection from weather and predators. Then they built huts. As humans progressed, they began constructing huts using materials like bamboo and leaves. These structures represent the first civil engineering efforts to create a more controlled living environment. Then the ancient civilization. In India, ancient India is a home to cave temples with complex carvings. These structures like Ellora and Ajanta caves highlight advanced stone cutting techniques and artistic achievements. Then in the Egypt, the Egyptians built massive pyramids such as Great Pyramid of Giza, which served as monumental tombs and reflect their architectural creativity. And in Greece, Greek architecture is known for its carefully proportioned building elements. One of the most famous examples showcasing these principles is the Parthenon located in Athens. Then in Rome, Romans developed arches for vaults and domes, contributing to large and durable structures. They also innovated materials like pozzolana, sand, mortar, plaster and concrete. In the medieval period between 1100 to 1500 AD, there was a Gothic architecture. This period saw the construction of churches with pointed arches and ribbed masonry vaults. The arched ribs were supported by stone pillars strengthened by the buttresses. These structures led to the idea of framed structure. And in the modern period, which we saw after the post 1750 AD, industrial revolutions was there. The industrial revolution brought new construction methods and materials, significantly changing building practices. And then came reinforced concrete structures. The use of reinforced concrete facilitated the rapid development of modern architecture. Buildings become more robust, allowed for more innovative design. Then the design innovations. The introduction of materials like plywood, glass and decorative items enabled architects to create more elegant and functional structures. And building design responsibilities. What responsibilities do architects take? Traditionally, architects are responsible for overall design of the building, focusing on aesthetics, functionality and user needs. Then the civil engineers. Civil engineers handle the construction and structural design, ensuring buildings are safe and stable. They also take on architectural design for smaller projects. Collaboration. Successful building projects often require close collaboration between the architect and civil engineers to balance design and structural integrity. What are the key considerations in design? Climate and its effects. The local climate significantly influences the building design. Engineers must consider factors like temperature, humidity, winds and rainfall to ensure the building's durability and comfort. People and their requirements. Understanding the needs of the building users is crucial. This includes considering space requirements, accessibility and functionality. Then the materials and construction methods. The choice of materials and construction methods impact the building's aesthetics, cost and durability. Sustainable materials and modern construction techniques can enhance a building performance. Then the regulations and bylaws. Compliance with local building codes and regulations is essential to ensure safety and legality. These rules cover aspects like zoning, fire safety, structural integrity and environmental impacts. Then what are the various types of buildings? The National Building Code of India, which is SP 7 2005, defines a building as any structure no matter what the purpose or the material used. This includes all parts of the structure such as foundations, walls, floors, roofs and chimneys, plumbing and other building services. It also covers fixed platforms, verandas, balconies, cornices, projections and any part of the building or anything attached to it. Additionally, it also includes any wall that encloses or is meant to enclose any land or spaces, as well as signs and outdoor display structures. However, tents, samyanas and tarpaulin shelters are not considered as building. So, according to the National Building Code of India 2005, buildings are classified on the occupancy in the following groups. First is group A, which is residential building. Second is group B, which is educational buildings. Third is group C, which is institutional buildings. Fourth is group D, which is assembly buildings. Fifth is group E, which is business buildings. Sixth is group F, which is mercantile building. Then group G, which is industrial buildings. Then the group H, which is storage buildings, and the group I, which is hazardous building. So, group A, residential building. These are buildings in which sleeping accommodations is provided for normal residential purposes, with and without cooking or dining or both facilities, except any building classified under category C. Buildings of group A are further subdivided as follows: lodging or rooming houses, which is A1 class of building. These buildings provide sleeping accommodation for up to 15 persons on a transient or permanent basis, with or without dining facilities, but without individual cooking facilities. Then 1 or 2 family private dwellings, which is A2 type of building. These are private dwellings occupied by single families accommodating up to 20 persons. They may rent rooms up to 3 persons. A2 type of dwellings can be further classified into the following types: detached buildings, semi-detached houses, row houses, apartments or flats, duplex apartment, and skyscrapers. Detached houses. Detached houses are standalone structures that are not connected to any other dwellings. They are surrounded by their own land on all 4 sides, providing a high level of privacy. The design of a detached house can be customized to meet the specified requirement of the family, including the layout, size, and amenities like private gardens, swimming pools, and garages. These homes offer the highest form of residence and are typically found in suburban areas or rural areas where the land prices are lower. Detached houses require more land and tend to be more expensive to maintain due to lack of shared infrastructure. Then the semi-detached houses. A semi-detached house shares one common wall with other dwellings, dividing the plot into 2 units. Each unit has its own separate entrance and amenities. This type of dwellings provide many benefits to the detached houses, such as privacy and spaces, while being more economical. Shared walls reduce construction and maintenance cost, and amenities like water lines, drainage, and can shared, lowering overall expenses. Then the row houses. Row houses are a series of identical or mirror images houses sharing side walls. These are typically constructed in a row to maximum land use efficiency. Row houses provide affordable housing options, especially for workers and low income families. They can be single or multi-storied and are designed to offer essential living requirements such as living rooms and kitchens. Row houses offer less privacy and can feel crowded due to the shared walls and close proximity to the neighbors. They also have limited space for expansion. Apartments or flats. Apartments or flats are residential units within a larger buildings, typically ranging from 3 to 10 stories. Each floor may contain multiple units, and residents share common areas and amenities. Apartments are ideal for urban area where land prices are high. They make efficient use of vertical space and offer amenities such as security, maintenance, and recreational facilities which are shared among residents. Apartment living often comes with restrictions on renovations and expenses. This is less privacy compared to the detached homes. Then the duplex apartments. Duplex apartments consist of 2 levels within a single unit, connected by an internal staircases. These units can be part of a larger apartment buildings or standalone structures. Duplexes offer a modern living experience with a split levels, providing more spaces and separations of living areas. They allow for better ventilation, natural light, and privacy. Duplex apartments can be more expensive than single level units due to their design. The internal staircase can be a concern for families with young children or elderly members. Then the skyscrapers. Skyscrapers are tall multi-storied buildings that can house a large number of residential units. They are a common feature in major urban centers where land is scarce and expensive. Skyscrapers maximize the use of vertical space, accommodating many residents with a small footprints. They often include various amenities such as gyms, pools, and retail spaces, providing a convenient living environment. Living in a skyscraper can feel impersonal due to the high number of residents. There can be long wait times for elevators, and in case of emergencies, evacuations can be challenging. Third is dormitories, which is type A3 type of buildings. These buildings offer group sleeping accommodations for non-family members such as school dormitories, student hostels, and military barracks. Apartment houses, which is A4 class 4 type of building. These structures provide independent living quarters for 3 or more families, each with a separate cooking facilities. Then the hotels, which is A5 type of building. These buildings offering sleeping accommodation for hire to more than 15 transient persons such as hotels, inns, and motels. Then the next is group B, educational buildings. These buildings are designated for educational purposes such as schools, colleges, or daycare facilities where assembly or instructional education or recreation occurs for more than 8 hours per week, excluding those covered under the group D type of building. Then the group C, institutional buildings. These buildings or parts thereof are used for medical or other treatment, care of persons with physical or mental illness, care of infants, recovering persons or elderly persons, and for penal or correctional detention where the liberty of inmates is restricted. They usually provide sleeping accommodations for occupants. Group C buildings are further divided as follows. Subdivision C1, hospitals or sanitaria. These buildings or groups of buildings under single management house persons with health or age related physical limitations such as hospitals, infirmaries, sanitaria, and clinics. Then the subdivision C2, which is custodial type of institutions. These buildings or group of buildings falls under single management care for persons like children, recovering persons, all the elderly persons. Examples include homes for the aged and infirms and orphanages. And the third is subdivision C3, penal institutions type of buildings. These buildings or group of buildings fall under single management house persons under restraint or detained for penal or corrective purpose with restricted liberty. Examples include jails, prisons, mental hospitals, mental sanitaria, and reformatories. Then the fourth is group D, assembly buildings. These buildings or parts of buildings are where people gather for amusement, recreation, social, religious, patriotic, civil, travel, and similar purpose. Examples include theatres, motion pictures houses, assembly halls, auditoria, exhibition halls, museums, skating rinks, gymnasium, restaurants, places of worship, dance halls, club rooms, passenger stations, and terminals of public transportation services, recreation piers, and stadium. Group D type of buildings are further classified as follows. Subdivision, which is division D1, buildings primarily meant for theoretical or operative performances and exhibition with fixed seats for over 1000 persons and equipped with stages and theoretical accessories. Then the subdivision D2, buildings are described for subdivision D1 but fixed with seats for less than 1000 persons. Then the subdivision D3, buildings intended for assembly without theoretical stages or accessories accommodating more than 300 persons. Examples include dance halls, nightclubs, halls for incidental picture shows, lectures, art galleries, museums, libraries, passenger terminals and buildings used for educational purposes for less than 8 hours per week. Then the subdivision D4, buildings as described in subdivision D3, but accommodations less than 300 persons. Subdivisions D5, buildings meant for outdoor assembly not covered by subdivisions D1 to D4 such as grandstands, stadiums, amusement park structures, reviewing stands and circus tents. Then the fifth type of building is group E, which is business buildings. These buildings or parts thereof are used for business transactions except those covered by group F, keeping accounts and records and similar purposes. They include doctors and dentist offices unless covered by the group C. Services facilities like news stands, lunch counters, serving less than 100 persons, barber shops and beauty parlors. City halls, town halls, courthouses and libraries falls under into this group if their principal function is public business transactions and record keeping. Minor office occupancy incidental to operation is classified under the relevant group for main occupancy. Then the group F, which is mercantile buildings. These buildings or parts thereof are used as shops, stores, markets for displaying and selling merchandise either wholesale or retail. Office, storage and service facilities incidental to the sale of merchandise and located in the same buildings are included in this group. Minor operations in the building primarily meant for other uses should be covered by the group under which our predominant occupancy is classified. Then the group G, industrial buildings. These buildings or part thereof or structures are where products or similar materials of all kinds and properties are fabricated, assembled or processed. Examples include assembly plants, laboratories, dry cleaning plants, power plants, pumping stations, smoke houses, gas plants, refineries, dairies and sawmills. Then the group H, storage buildings. These buildings or parts thereof are primarily used for storing or sheltering goods, wares, merchandise, vehicles or animals. These include servicing, processing or repairs incidental to storage except for very high combustible or explosive products. Examples include warehouses, cold storages, freight depots, transit sets, storehouses, trucks and marine terminals, garage hangars other than aircraft repair hangars, grain elevators, barns and stables. Then the next type of group is group I, hazardous buildings. These buildings or parts thereof are used for storing, handling, manufacturing or processing high combustible or explosive materials or products that burn rapidly, produces poisonous fumes or explosives. They handle high corrosive, toxic or noxious chemical and materials that produce explosive dust or fine particles subjected to spontaneous ignition. Examples include building used for storage under pressure exceeding 0.1 Newton per mm square and quantities over 70 meter cube of acetylene, hydrogen, illuminating and natural gases, ammonia, chlorine, phosgene, sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, methyl oxide and other or toxic gas is restricted. Storage and handling of hazardous and highly flammable or explosive material other than liquids must follow strict guidelines. Manufacturing artificial flowers, synthetic leathers, ammunition, explosives and fireworks are subjected to safety regulations. Dear learners, that concludes today's session. I hope you have learned a lot. Thank you.